Oh my god. I figure I'll try to record myself speaking again, even though I fucking hate the sound of my own voice. It doesn't help that I have the Invisalign thing going on, and I was told that the lisp would go away after 2 to 3 days, but I think because of the rubber band situation going on in my mouth, it fucking hasn't. So I'm a bit fucking peeved about that, but what the fuck can you do, right? Also, I waited too long, really, to change out the tray I have in my mouth currently, because it looked like I was supposed to have brackets added to my teeth to continue the treatment, which was very weird because it's not like they said anything about it, and there was a reason. Turns out I didn't need brackets added to my teeth. There was just some shit going on for the next couple of trays to apparently help realign my top teeth better, which also would have been a great heads up so I wasn't so fucking confused, or maybe they would have, I don't know, answered that particular question when I called the first time and asked about it, because I ended up making a dentist appointment. I went yesterday, and because I knocked out a bracket and a top front tooth anyway, but they couldn't do anything about it at the time anyway. But considering I have fucking buttons on my teeth, almost all of my fucking teeth, they were like, don't worry about it, it's fine, like if you've lost just one of them, even like a couple of them, because you have so many in your mouth, which would have been another great thing to have been informed about. And it would have been great to avoid this whole getting stuck in the middle of the fucking road situation that I was in yesterday. However, you know, called roadside assistance, got gas in the car, was able to get out of said middle of the road. I didn't have to get the vehicle towed or nothing, but being stuck in the middle of the highway in the suicide lane, I can't say that was the most pleasant of experiences. However, I also guess I could say yesterday was very boring by any means as well too. I fucking hate moving. I hate the whole process of packing and unpacking and having to put away all my shit. I don't know what's worse, the packing or the unpacking. I'm much better at the unpacking bit, I think, but I feel like, you know, I haven't really properly learned how to pack either, because when I originally moved out of my parents' house, I was with a guy who was not very fond of me having a bunch of my personal belongings with me. Why'd I stay with that man? I have no fucking clue what the fuck's wrong with me. Regardless, I'm not with him anymore, so quite frankly, it doesn't fucking matter. But then I moved into, you know, the apartment I moved out of in March, and I kind of had like my dad help me move my stuff finally from like my parents' house to the new place, and progressively over time I got furniture and doodads and whatnot to make it feel like an actual apartment instead of just a place to keep my bullshit at for nearly $900 a month in rent. And then when I moved out of the apartment, I didn't get any help packing, so it was a panic-induced, unmedicated nightmare. Then when I moved again, and what was it, fucking August or something this year, it's an abusive household situation. I had less than 2 weeks to get my shit and get the fuck out, so obviously my packing skills weren't phenomenal then either. And this move, I had a little more time to pack my stuff and get together, but God, I've accumulated so much bullshit and I have no idea how. And it was still a bit of a pain in the ass to pack all my shit and move. I hate this whole hanging clothes up bit I have going on here, but at least I finally have a decent sized fucking closet again. And then I have the front closet over there, and I have a little storage on my nice little patio. It's like I got the apartment of my dreams, yay! But unless I figure out how to make an ass ton of money real fucking fast, I mean, whew, being able to keep this bitch is gonna be the real fucking challenge now, but we'll figure it out, I guess. I have kind of no choice at this point because I don't feel like fucking moving again. I don't feel like going through this shit another time. And I'm a bit tired of having to just like somehow magically pull money out of my ass to fucking move. Dear fucking God, the amount of debt I'm in is fucking ridiculous because before I moved this second time, like I was making a good bit of money, plus like I had the whole $600 bit thing coming in, and realistically I should have, could have, would have saved my fucking money and budgeted a lot better, but I didn't. So I learned my lesson, you know, and this last move, because I had no fucking money, and my roommates who kicked me out knew I had no fucking money. I went into debt. I started to go into debt. Starting to max out my cards and whatnot. And I was making a little bit money at this last place, but I feel like I had been too depressed and anxious and overwhelmed to make content on a regular basis as I was doing. Plus, living in Midway in Statesboro, I had a quite complicated time finding a job. With the Midway situation, it was more of a having a consistent ride scenario going on, and then with Statesboro, I just like could not for the life of me find a fucking job. No matter how many applications I put in, I just got no response back. And then I found out I had to move. So the plan is I was going to get a job before I, you know, started really looking for a place to like move to, because I kind of want to be able to have a, you know, consistent income before I move in. Plus, you know, it makes it a lot easier to find a place to rent per se, because they do require proof of income, of course. And I found a job, but then the chronic pain situation I'm in completely kicked my ass. So I worked one shift, just one. I was on my feet for only about 6 hours. It's a very physically easy job, to be honest. The least physically demanding job I have ever had. But between the cost of the Uber to get back and forth was basically like my entire paycheck. And the chronic pain that I've been suffering with for quite a number of years now started to kick my ass to the point where I could not physically function. So I did have to hold off on doing that. And my battery's almost dead already, even though it said it was fully charged when I turned this camera on. But we'll try to get out what I'm saying as quickly as possible. But yeah, so had to quit that job very fast and sucks because really liked it, but had to see a doctor, got put on muscle relaxers, which makes me like very fucking loopy as fuck. Kind of makes that whole having a regular job thing a bit hard as well. And the having to go back to Statesboro, pack my stuff up, move my shit here, yada yada. Just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I'm like $10,000 in debt now, so that's fucking awesome. Love that for me. I've never been in debt. I've never had a bad credit score, but oh, this year has been quite a new experience on all of those things. And I should be drinking this with my retainers in, but fuck it. Who cares? Alright, now that we're on battery number 2 and box number 2, as far as hanging and folding up things, woo, love that for me. Where was I? Packing, unpacking, moving, and massive debt. I don't know what it is for me about living with other people, but I find it so much harder to be motivated to do the things that I need done when I live with other people. I think maybe it's because I get sidetracked easy, or something to do with that whole rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria thing that comes with ADHD, but regardless, it's hard to just find the motivation to do things versus living alone, where I guess I don't have to worry about working around other people's fuckery as well as my own. It's easier to find the motivation to do things that needs to be done. I do want to talk a little bit about one of my bigger struggles when it comes to having to move to a new area, which is my medication. I'm on Adderall because ADHD, and as generally people are pretty aware at this point that it is a very commonly abused substance, so you know it's what's the word? Controlled substance. That's the word. And being someone who is uninsured, first of all, my medication's pretty expensive, and especially if I'm in an area that doesn't really do the whole RX Saver or Gold RX thing. It's my medication could cost anywhere from $88, which is about what I spent today for it, or $200, because people hate those who need Adderall to function like a normal fucking human being. How crazy. I have spent a good chunk of my time being on my medication, being completely treated like a goddamn crackhead, which fucking sucks because I now get very paranoid about when I meet people, letting them know that I am on Adderall, because there's the immediate questions of, can I buy it off of you? Can I have one? And it's fuck people who do that, by the way. I did not spend fucking 4 months to see a goddamn psychiatrist to get me prescribed again with the medication that I need to function on a daily basis. When I'm off my medication, my brain is just absolute fucking mush. I I've seen some people talk about they didn't like being on the Adderall because like after they took it for so long and they went off of it, they were having much harder time like focusing and concentrating and whatnot. And for me, like I never had a harder time focusing and concentrating and a harder time that I was having before the medication, but it's definitely a lot more noticeable. And even just being off my medication for the past 3 days, I was definitely immediately going back to the impulsive behaviors that I had worked so hard to get under control through cognitive behavioral therapy and seeing a psychiatrist and working on healthy coping methods and yada yada. And to be honest, I'm still an absolute fucking train wreck of a person. However, I am much less of a train wreck than I was prior to being properly treated and actually learning about my ADHD. And it's just baffling how little doctors will tell you about ADHD. I had to spend hours and hours looking up documentaries and forums and blogs and everything under the sun, joining online groups of other people who have ADHD so I can get somewhat of an idea of how my brain actually functions. And it's like I spent all these years going, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why am I like this? What's wrong with me? And fucking plot twist, it's all ADHD. All of it. Almost every single one of my issues is ADHD related. I wish somebody would have told me things about like rejection, sensitivity dysphoria, or the oppositional defiant disorder issue, or how it affects personal relationships and friendships, and how it does kind of make you a magnet for people with narcissistic tendencies. I don't want to say straight up narcissist because that is an actual disorder. And you know, there's less people who are actual narcissists and a lot more people with a good number of narcissistic tendencies, but without being an actual narcissist. And that's the thing a lot of people don't seem to recognize and understand, but I guess it is easier to just say like that person's a narcissist versus that person has a bunch of narcissistic tendencies. Regardless, doesn't really fucking matter. But I have, as anyone who personally knows me, have been in quite the number of shitty relationships and friendships and roommate situations, and I kind of put the blame on myself to an extent because it's like I knew that they weren't great people, but I have the bad habit of going, oh well, they can't be that bad, should give them a chance. And plot twist, every fucking time, they are that bad, and suddenly I find myself living with somebody who, I don't know, screams at me every day, or impulsively moves out and spreads a bunch of lies about me on the internet, causes a bunch of people to hate me or harass the shit out of me, or kicks me out of the place that I'm paying rent for, plus some, like so much more. And because I had a nervous breakdown and I started to, I guess, like come to my senses on how bad my living situation was taking a toll on my mental health. And It's not like I was all like, fuck y'all, but I was trying that's so dirty. What the fuck happened here? I was trying so hard and to try to make things easier, better on myself and the situation I was in, but realistically all the issues I had, like nothing could be done about it. I couldn't do anything about the slow internet. I couldn't do anything about the fact that I couldn't get around the middle of fucking nowhere, mostly because nobody would really take the time to teach me how to drive, to get a fucking car, and I definitely had the money at the time to do such things, but it doesn't matter anymore. And I also wish I would have learned about the sensory processing issues that come with ADHD, and that's also an autism issue too, and I knew about that, but I wasn't aware that it was also an ADHD thing, which I guess isn't too wild or crazy to think about, considering how much ADHD and autism overlap with each other. But I was feeling like an absolute fucking crazy person because my issues didn't come from like the volumes of the sounds. It's the repetitive and the I can't handle a bunch of high-pitched noise. It's either like the living situation I had prior to the place that I moved from. The 6-year-old, bless her, she was as well behaved as a 6-year-old could be, but she threw a lot of tantrums and she threw a lot of fits, and her voice was just so obnoxiously high-pitched. It just threw me in this consistent sensory overload every fucking day, and every day I had this goddamn uncontrollable migraine from this child, and it's like I could always tell when my medication was getting low because my tolerance for this child was becoming a lot smaller and a lot shorter, and I could not fucking deal with being near this child because she drove me so fucking batshit. And then moving into the apartment in Statesboro, my upstairs neighbors, it's like, I swear to God, it's like they had a fucking herd of goddamn elephants up the goddamn stairs, or they like had like brakes tied to their feet, a fucking bowling alley, like regardless. Like, there was just noise non-stop all day, every day, and it's like, every time, like, it got quiet and I would go to take a nap or go to bed or whatever, like, that's when they decided to, like, start the bullshit. It was like, they filmed, like, WWE upstairs, like, I go to lay down and go to bed, and all of a sudden, it's fucking, get ready to fucking rumble! Like, I'm so fucking relieved to be out of that situation, just because of the upstairs neighbors. Everything else is, like, fine, as well, aside from the struggling to get a job bit, but it's like my roommate was great, and like my place is really cute, and I really had no like big complaints except for the fucking upstairs neighbors. And it's like I stayed with my boyfriend for a couple of weeks downtown while I was trying to find a place to move to and job situation and whatnot, and it was so fucking loud downtown, to be honest, because I was like in the middle of like downtown Savannah. Like, there was noise and yelling and fire trucks and trains and this and that, like non-stop all the time, but the sensory issues didn't flare up at all because there was nothing consistent. There was no consistent sounds except for maybe like certain things at certain times of the day, and like I'm fine with that. Like, if there's like a train that runs every day at 10 in the morning, I can work around that. I start getting up before 10 o'clock in the morning, you know, so I'm not being woken up to the train, because that's gonna piss me off versus getting up before like something like that starts going off. But it's because I'm an incredibly groggy and pissy person when I first wake up until I take my medication, and it takes me a good hour for that shit to kick in. But until that point, I'm just a shitty and horrible person to deal with, and I just kind of like avoid everyone and anyone, and so like I could get my fucking brain out of the fog that it's in. But that's a whole thing to deal with. I'm going to turn this camera off real quick and get some more clothes out, because for some reason me rambling like this is helping me get more motivated to get my shit together. And I don't think anyone's gonna answer the phone right now, because usually when I actually want to talk to somebody, that's when nobody answers. Jesus fuck. What else can I ramble about for no particular fucking reason? It's really funny how sometimes we can miss situations that we know are really bad and pretty much toxic for us. Lately, I have been missing me living in this apartment that I was in Southside Savannah quite a lot. I keep thinking to myself that I wouldn't be in the shit situation that I'm in if I would have just sucked it up and dealt with it, and just stayed, you know. And maybe I shouldn't have quit my job bartending at the club, because you know, as bad as things were starting to get, I was still making consistent money, you know, still making my rent. I was incredibly exhausted, and I was working, looking back and I did the math, I was working about 72 hours a week, because I was the only fucking bartender and they never wanted to hire another bartender, and when they did, that bitch only lasted for like maybe a month or two before she either quit or got fired. Usually quit, and honestly, I don't blame them. The place fucking sucked, but I made a good $800 a week or so, and towards like this time of year, obviously it wasn't that great, because I mean, who the fuck is going to the strip club in December? These people still have families and children, and you know, they have to put their money towards that. But you know, realistically, I left all of those things behind to take care of my mental health. And well, I feel like I'm not doing fan-fucking-tastic now, obviously, considering my current situation. I have learned how to handle things better, so to speak. I find it really hard to deal with stress, and apparently that's also an ADHD thing, is the inability to cope with stress, which makes sense, because the typical things that people do to deal with stress kind of does not blend, I guess, would be the word, with my ADHD, like the just take deep breaths, meditate, just calm down. And I feel like the best metaphor I heard was like, it's like your brain is like a bicycle with a Ferrari engine or some shit like that. But basically, it's like my brain is constantly going so fast. I can't slow down. I can't ever slow down. And that's so fucking hard to deal with, especially when I start getting stressed, because one negative thought pops in and all of a sudden 20 other bad possible scenarios come to mind, and then all of a sudden I'm sit down in this spiral of oh my fucking god, oh my fucking god, I'm so fucked, oh my fucking god, that I don't know how to deal with anything until I can get whatever problem I'm currently facing sorted out. But until that moment happens, I'm just a giant ball of stress, and it's just very hard to deal with. But I try my best. I've come to be able to deal with, to be able to have a healthier thought process. Like when I got kicked out of the place I was staying at this year, I was finally able to have this, instead of like me spiraling into this thought process of everything's my fault, I'm a terrible human being, I'm a worthless piece of shit, and just beating myself up with this ungodly self-loathing. Granted, I know I wasn't perfect. I'm never perfect in a situation. That's just what it is with being a human being, I believe. But I finally was able to get to this point of the behavior that they had towards me was not a reflection of me, but rather a reflection of them. Because, to be honest, it was a pretty shit situation, and I wish it didn't get to that point, didn't have to get to that point, but it is what it is, and what's done is done, and I've learned my lesson. And one of the lessons and the many lessons I learned with that situation is I'm not moving in with a couple ever again. That was a horrible time. Being woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning because that man talking about he'll get his dick sucked and living with couples is fucking intense. Or maybe it's not supposed to be like that. Who knows? I've only lived with that couple, but that was some bullshit as a whole. Living out in the fucking boonies with damn shit ass internet, no phone service, loud ass child, loud ass couple, constant sensory overload, can't just like get up and walk to the store or nothing, you know. I'm having to rely on other people's schedules, and hopefully they're in a good enough mood to help me out. COVID. Me draining my bank account to help somebody whom I thought was in need and who I thought was my best friend and someone who cared about me, to then turn around and proceed to call me a fake friend, because fake friends definitely spend about $5,000 over a span of 7 months on their fake friends. Whatever, it's fine. But you know, this year's been so fucking intense, and I have so much more that I could talk on, but I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. And even if I did, this video is going to be like 5 fucking hours of nonsense and bullshit, and I'm just hoping that me not having to deal with other people's bullshit living alone, I'll be able to get my shit together again and get back to the good financial place that I was. I might have to overwork myself to damn near death again, but probably not, since my body has gotten to the point of basically saying, bitch, calm the fuck down, and will literally stop me from overworking myself like I used to, which fucking sucks, to be honest, because man, sometimes like you just fucking gotta overwork yourself to get through some shit, you know. And living alone is expensive, man. It's fucking expensive. But you know, the freedom of the freedom and the comfort of being alone for me personally is still worth it, as long as I'm able to find a way to make the money to get by, even if it does get stressful at times. It's still less stressful for me than living with other people. And come to find out that for me personally, no matter how great my roommate is, I still have that constant level of anxiety going on, just because I feel the constant need to make myself small and out the way, and I feel like I'm constantly going to be told that I'm like being a person wrong, you know, and I think that's just the rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria thing going on. But I've learned how to deal with that to an extent, as far as like in public situations, but as far as like a living scenario, I haven't quite nailed that bit yet. And quite frankly, I don't fucking feel like nailing that bit yet. I've already had to learn how to cope and deal with so much shit this year. Like, can I just worry about it next year? Can I just worry about it sometime towards the end of next year? Like, the universe has thrown me enough curveballs and life lessons this year. I feel like this year feels like it's been fucking 5 years instead of 1. And it feels like it's been the longest year, but also somehow the shortest year at the same time. And it's like, I know I've been sitting here for God knows how long just complaining and complaining, but I've had many good things happen this year as well. And a lot of it really is just being able to work on my mental health a lot better, and being able to learn how to have strategies to cope with day-to-day issues and budget. Oh, well, not budget better. My budgeting skills went to shit this year, but being able to manage my time better and learn how to people better, and learn how to kind of let shit go a little bit more. And my wonderful, oh so fucking amazing boyfriend. I'm so fucking shook. I don't know how the man puts up with my bullshit, but he fucking does, and hopefully he'll be able to continue to put up with it, because I am a fucking handful and a half, and I'm aware. I used to think I was a relatively easy person to deal with, but truth be told, I'm not. I have a lot of deep-rooted issues going on with myself at this point, all of which, you know, I actively work on. I don't tend to use anything as an excuse, but more so as a reason at this point. But just consistent fuckery. That is the person that I am. It's so weird to think that I'm like dating again too, just because I've been single for I don't know. I was single for like three years or so, up until recently, and it's like, it's so he's so good to me. It doesn't feel real yet. But I keep telling myself things will get better. I have no choice, because do I really have another choice aside from hoping things get better and things actually getting better for once? Because I'm so close to losing my shit at this point with the amount of curveballs and fuckery that keeps getting thrown my way. I am tired of the universe trying to teach me lessons like, bitch, can we take a summer break? Can we take a break before you start throwing more bullshit at me? Can I at least like get like halfway out of debt before you start fucking with me again? But maybe I don't know, maybe I'll get to do something nice for my birthday, maybe I won't, because I keep thinking about how that's so close. I hate how close my birthday is to Christmas, for the general obvious reason of, it's not like, you know, a lot of people, like, remember my birthday, or at that point of, by like that point, like everyone was too exhausted and too tired to give a damn, you know, and that's totally understandable. But man, that should be sucking anyway. I know when I was a kid, to be honest, my parents would wait till June, July to like throw me a birthday party, just because like everyone at that point like want to go out and have fun and do things. Everyone has money, and you know, I'd always have these like much more lavish, much more better planned out birthday parties than basically getting like a birthday and Christmas combo going on, which kind of sucked on my birthday because, you know, I never did anything. But the wait was always worth it, you know, and I always did like pool parties or some shit like that, because my parents have this very big talent for making themselves look like they have more money when they do than they do, because fantastic at budgeting, but that's a whole nother thing to get into. I do my roommate, one of my previous roommates, she one of the reasons she started so much shit with me in general was because I think there was some sort of I think it upset her that you know, being in my 20s and my parents still like being able to go kind of like balls to the wall with like getting me Christmas presents, it tends to make people upset in a very jealous way, I suppose. But it's not like my parents like go out and buy a bunch of shit all at one time. They kind of do this thing where they like slowly buy gifts over the year, and I need to like actually learn how to do that shit myself. But I'm always like, oh, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, and bam, I'm not like buying nobody's getting Christmas presents. The only presents people are getting at this point is my presents. You don't know what I mean, but budgeting, man, I suck at that. So and I used to not suck so much, but I think the amount of copious stress I'm under at all times has doing a lot more impulse shopping and spending than I should be, and of course moving 3 times in 1 year doesn't help either. But I'm actually pretty impressed with myself that I have managed to talk to this camera for so long, considering the fact that usually I'll start talking on camera and I'll get incredibly anxious and I'll just turn the camera off, delete the video, and pretend I never tried to try that shit in the first place. But I probably won't like really look back over this video so I don't end up deleting it again per usual. Well, I don't know, we'll see. I don't even know where I'm gonna post this. Maybe YouTube? I don't know. I don't even know if anyone's gonna actually, first of all, even watch this video, and second of all, get this fucking far into it, because who wants to hear this fucking mouth complain for God knows how long, probably close to an hour at this point. But if I've managed to post this video, I do manage to listen to this song. You clearly really fucking like me, which is surprising to say the least. I know people online tend to like me a good bit, but I don't usually feel like it's like a whole lot. I feel like if I'd like disappeared from the internet today, it'd be very easy to forget, except for maybe for like I don't know, like 3 people maybe. But now that I've got the majority of my complaining for the entire year out of my system, I suppose I will actually start maybe like planning and scripting something to talk about. But I at least have now got most of these clothes on hangers, which means I just need to get them in the fucking closet, and then I guess get back to doing the rest of my fuckery as far as putting things up so I don't have an overwhelming amount of boxes and bullshit to walk around and go through, and shit's all in my way, and I can't fuck with that at all. I can't stand it. I'm not someone that can just like leave boxes sitting around forever and a day for like months before I'm like, oh, I guess I'll start unpacking, you know. It bothers me just because the more cluttered my space is, the more cluttered my head is, and it took me a long time to figure that one out too. But once I figured that out, I've gotten a lot better at keeping my space very tidy, very organized at all fucking times. But I'm going to shut the fuck up now and probably try to call somebody so I'm not just sitting here fucking talking to myself. But fucking deuces, I fucking guess. Bye.